guess just kind of show you how to take belts on and off these mowers. Model T, Model C, Model S, I mean most of them pretty much the same as far as what we're going to do here. Model B's and H's they're slightly different, and we'll have a video for those. But get your PTO belt right here, and you got your jack shaft belt. Normally, well, so we could say, let's say you want to change your jack shaft belt, I guess as an example. So I drop that, and that's just so I can get my hand in here a little easier. But first thing you gotta do is you've got to get this PTO belt out of the way to get your jack shaft belt. So I've derailed it off this top tensioner, and then I kind of try, and sometimes this is easier said than done, but wiggle that belt so you can get it off your engine PTO. And at this point, I guess, you know, if I was just changing the PTO belt, I can go ahead and just slide her off the front of the PTO box just like that. Now this belt's off. Yeah, but sometimes the only belt I really need to change is that one, so I could have just left this on the front, and it just, so you could just do that and kind of get it out of the road. Anyways, point being is, so then you could get to this, derail it off your jack shaft pulley just like that, and you slide her off the back of the engine, just like, you know. Let's see if I can do this here. I think I got it hooked on the, there's some little guides. Yep. That's about all you got to do as far as to get these off. Yeah, the biggest thing is when you're reinstalling these, when you slip this back over your crank pulley. So anyway, I guess I'm just mentioning this because I have done this before on accident. Make sure you get your V-belt for the jack shaft in the correct groove there on your crank pulley. Time or two I've made the mistake and it's actually slid off, and it's been kind of like right like that, and that will tear it up if you start it up. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of just a mistake I've made it, and just something worth mentioning. So once you get that, I usually loop it back on the jack shaft pulley. You go ahead and your PTO belt, try and work it back on like that. Now, there are some belt guides here. You want to make sure your belt is over, there's a guide there on the bottom. I don't know if we can see it in the video very well, but make sure your belt's on the top side of that. If you run it under it, what's going to happen is when you engage your blades, I'll slip this on, finish it on here first, I guess. It help. I had to take my glove off so I could get better grip. Still not on. There we go. Okay. Anyways, what I was gonna say is take and get that. Make sure it's under the guide. Don't make the mistake of putting it over the top. And same with that bottom guide underneath. You want the belt above it, because if you put it below and you tension this, it's going to burn your belt up, because then it makes it like super tight and it drags on it quite a bit and it'll burn it up. So you got your PTO belt on, and at this point, as far as this jack shaft belt goes, so anyways, jack shaft belt is reinstalled, PTO belt's on. Then the other belt, kind of look at here since how we're doing this, your ground drive belt. This one isn't too bad to do. You take your tensioner, lift it up just a little bit so you can drop the belt off right there, off your jack shaft. I usually drop that spring and then just flip that tensioner up out of the way. And then I derail the belt off the front hydro pulley like that, pull her through, and then you just go like that and catch it on the spring. But anyways, that's all there is to it. Biggest thing to remember, flat side of the belt is going to ride on your idlers. So for reinstalling it, I usually will just kind of pinch it, make a little loop, fish it through. Now I just kind of work it in. Sometimes getting it past that fan's a little tricky, but get her on your pulley like that. Flat side of the belt on idler. Loop her down under your hydro pulley. Okay, and I usually do that, and I just kind of make sure everything's on and lined up. So once you get it to that point, then you can go ahead and put your belt on the jack shaft pulley there. And then the spring, so this is what I do, and you don't have to do it this way. I'm going to take my gloves off for this, but just so I can grab it better. I just drop that down, hook your spring back on, and you just pull it up, and there's your tensioner. So anyways, just that was a quick rundown on how to change your belts, and anyways, good luck. So now you've seen it, and now you can do it, so till next time.